Ladies and gentlemen, it's the start of a new week, and with that, I have some massive updates, rumors, leaks, and news. And, I say this almost every week, although I was right last week, right? I said possibly on Wednesday we get a Nintendo Direct, and on Wednesday we got a Star Fox Nintendo Direct. Just saying, but there's some evidence and some rumors of another Nintendo Direct possibly happening this week. Regardless if that happens or not, these updates, rumors, leaks, and news, Maron, it's a spicy meatball. That's all I can say. We got to get right into this. Yeah, that's right. Back with some updates. These ones are massive. Again, it was weird. Last week I had this day where it was like one of the most exciting videos I personally made because everything we talked about was just so damn cool. This is another one of those videos. We even have, it's a leak, but it's coming directly from Nintendo about a potential new console in development, straight from the horse's mouth. Is that a saying? Horse's mouth? Straight from the horse's mouth? That doesn't sound right. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And how did I forget, guys? Thank you so much for 30,000 subscribers. That's crazy, man. Truly crazy. So this week, I'll be giving away a bunch of games over on Instagram until I run out, just randomly. I think I gave away like 12 games already. So we'll be giving away some games over on Instagram. And then we'll do a couple streams this week to celebrate 30K. But let's go ahead and get right into this. So why don't we start with a new console leak? I know, normally this is something you would leave to the end of the video, but... and now that I say that, we're going to be bouncing around with topics. Like this topic kind of has to do with some stuff at the end of the video, which has some stuff to do with some other parts of the video. But obviously, the Switch 2 is getting a price increase, and then we got the earnings report. Now, through the financial report, which a lot of people don't read, Nintendo R&D, which stands for Research and Development, expenses are up over 23% from the last fiscal year. And the last time we got a big jump of over 20% or more was in 2023 to 2024, which is when they were working on the Nintendo Switch 2. So do I think this is like the Switch Pro or a Switch 2 OLED? Honestly, not even close, especially with the Switch 2 getting a price increase. Do I think we'll still get a Switch 2 OLED eventually? Sure. But honestly, before this price increase and before seeing the way the world was moving, I would have said maybe in 2 or 3 years. But now, we might not see a Switch 2 revision, like a real one, until 2030 or something. In Europe, they have until January to start making these new Switch 2 consoles that have removable batteries, as well as like some extra ports or something. So if I had to guess, that's probably what this is going to be for. Now, something I'm curious about is if it only makes sense for Nintendo to make these consoles moving forward, right? Just manufacture this version of the Switch 2 and sell these worldwide. Because why would you manufacture two different consoles? Which I'm sure there's probably some smarter person who can answer this question. But to me, it just makes sense to make only this one. And then on top of that, I think I said this during stream, I wonder if that rumored Zelda Switch 2 special theme Switch 2, I really wonder if that will have a removable battery, because that's supposed to be coming out like November, December. So this would be about that time. Now let's jump over to a massive Dragon Quest update. And this is coming from Yuji Horii, right? This is not coming from just a random person, which those are still fun to go over. But during a podcast, he talked about a special stream for Dragon Quest Day on May 27th, which is coming up, where the next Dragon Quest title will finally be shown, along with much more additional information. So I'm curious if, Dragon Quest 12, that's going to be amazing, whatever. We're going to see that eventually. At least, hopefully. Dragon Quest 11 has been out for like 9 years or something. Well, I guess, actually, speaking of Dragon Quest 11, I wonder if that Switch 2 edition of Dragon Quest 11 would be shown off during Dragon Quest Day or during that rumored Nintendo Direct, or would this just be like a random announcement on social media? I can't really say for sure, but I am very excited to see something about Dragon Quest 12, especially because like 2 months ago, I made a video about a huge Dragon Quest 12 leak, and it was so damn precise. I'm just curious to see if any of that is going to come true. Now, if you're not a fan of JRPGs, you probably won't care about that, or what I'm about to talk about now. but now we have a massive leak for Kingdom Hearts 4 as well. So I'm translating a Spanish article to English, and this article has a bunch of stuff going on, like a bunch of details. It's actually kind of crazy. So I'm just going to highlight some of the more important ones, right? Allegedly, Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming in 2027. At least I think they say it's internally delayed from 2026 to the third quarter of 2027. So third quarter of 2027, potentially moving into 2028. That's not what I even want to start thinking about. Square Enix would not yet decide when to show the next trailer, evaluating events such as D23 Expo, Tokyo Game Show, or the Game Awards. If it's going to come in 2027, I think the Game Awards makes the most sense because that's like leading us into 2027. Now, what's really interesting is allegedly Disney approved, and I guess years ago they approved this, the uses of franchises such as Marvel and Star Wars within Kingdom Hearts. Me personally, I like some of the Star Wars movies. I like some of the Star Wars games. I'm not really like that big of a fan, I would say. Marvel, I care 0% about. And even me, I think that would be so cool to have Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts. And if that is something true, then that's probably why this is taking so long, because that's very ambitious. They also talk about a couple of remakes as well that are potentially in development. Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 358/2 days or whatever. But I think it says they temporarily postpone those to focus on, I guess, Kingdom Hearts 4. Now, something that you would think is a given, but when we go back to the Switch, every time I think about it, I just scratch my head. We got Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3, I think, on the Switch, but they were all cloud versions. 3, sure, whatever. The first 2, there's literally no reason at all. So you would think, well, Kingdom Hearts 4 is probably going to be on the Switch too. But when we've seen what they did with the Switch, nothing is guaranteed. But in this leak, it says that there's a possible native version for the Switch 2 that is also mentioned. So I don't know if they mean like native, like truly physical, or native game key card, but I think we can at least cross out cloud version this time. So I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I love these games. I grew up in Orlando. I really enjoy Disney stuff. I'm really excited for Kingdom Hearts 4, but I would really just like to get the first 3 games, which are rumored to be coming over to the Switch 2, just at any time, man. Now that we got some of the smaller information or leaks or news out of the way, which isn't even small, that's what kind of video we got right now. If we go back like 2 months ago, there was this rumor that GTA 6 was coming to the Switch 2. And I talked about it in a video and I said, no, not happening. And then we seen Nash Weedle talk about it, which is whatever. Then we seen Reese Kiwi talk about it, and he said he had a source that was like doubling down, and they even had a bet that it was going to happen or not, which is weird. So now we have another update from Nash Weedle, and it's like, yeah, do they get everything right? No, not even closely. But I really like covering this stuff because it's fun to me. And whenever it's specific stuff, I talked about this recently, I really like covering that because you can be vague about anything, but when it's specific like this, maybe your reputation has already taken some hits. This is not a Nate to hate situation. So when your reputation has already taken some hits and you're doubling down on this type of shit, it gets exciting for me to talk about. So this is the post of Nash Weedle responding to his November 17th, 2025 leak about a GTA 6 port for the Switch 2. He says GTA 6 update on Switch 2. The information I have is that they're still working on the Switch 2 version. They tell me it might arrive alongside the rest of the versions, but I don't trust that and think it will come later. I don't think the Switch 2 logo will show up in the game's trailer number 3. Rockstar will want the conversation to focus on its technical potential, gameplay, etc., and then not have them veer off. I'm aware that technically it is an impossible port, but how many times have we heard that? And the timing on this is pretty interesting. Not because I think that, it's going to get announced for the Switch 2 or anything, but there is a bunch of big GTA 6 leaks that are happening currently. So much that there's a rumor that this week, pre-orders are going to start at GameStop for GTA 6. And I've seen a bunch of posts of people who have PlayStation 4s saying that PlayStation emailed them and they're like, hey, you have a PlayStation 4? That's cool, but if you want to play GTA 6, you need to upgrade. So it seems like November's probably locked in. If anything needs to come to the Switch 2, let us get Grand Theft Auto 5, which, Rockstar was testing Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Switch. It just never showed up. And then I think Nate the Hate even said that he heard Rockstar was testing GTA 6 on the Switch too. But that doesn't mean the game is coming. That just means they're tinkering around and seeing what's possible. I love the Switch 2. You guys know this. I think it's incredible. I think we have seen some impossible ports, but you can add up all of those impossible ports together, and I don't think that's even close to what GTA 6 is going to be. Now let's get into a huge update coming from Nintendo themselves, which is why me, myself, and a bunch of other people think a Nintendo Direct, like a massive one, is right around the corner. And it's because of something they're saying themselves, right? But what's going to lead us into that is going back and talking about the price hike quickly. The price hike sucks. I've been saying it's inevitable. It's going to be $500 starting in September. I'm not going to keep talking about that because truly, what else can I say, right? What I would like to do is talk about some of the game sales though, because we can see a list of the best-selling Switch 2 games so far. Mario Kart World has sold 14 million copies, or close to 15 million, which is a huge, what is it called? Like a pack-in rate when somebody buys a console that they're going to get this game. That's a given. Donkey Kong Bonanza, almost 5 million copies, pretty impressive. Pokemon Legends EA, 4 million copies or about there, pretty impressive. Pokemon Pocopia, I think itself has sold 4 million copies, which is insane. Kirby Air Riders, almost 2 million copies, but there is 2 games that did not show up on this list. And when these games do not show up, that means they have not broke 1 million copies. 1, Metroid Prime 4. So even though it didn't sell 1 million copies, if we take what it sold on the Switch and the Switch 2 and combine those, potentially 1 million copies. And, you gotta wipe your hands with this and move on to the next one. Metroid Prime 4 was in development hell. It didn't really feel like a real Metroid Prime game. So we can just charge that one to the game and then move on to the next Metroid Prime. Now, a game that I think is just crazy that it didn't show up, but makes sense, is Mario Tennis Fever. I think I read somewhere that there's a rumor that it sold around 600,000 or 700,000 copies, which is crazy for a brand new Mario game on the Switch 2. Number 2, this game was $70. I think by that game not even getting close to 1 million, that was a wake-up call to Nintendo, and now we're actually getting real variable pricing with Yoshi, Splatoon, and Star Fox. So did we have to slime out and sacrifice Mario Tennis Fever to get cheaper games? I don't know. But if that's the case, if any game needs to get sacrificed, Mario Tennis Fever is the one. But because of maybe Mario Tennis Fever not doing so good, and the Switch 2 getting a price hike, we got an update from Nintendo, from Furukawa, and it's really, really promising. In a recent interview, Furukawa, which is Nintendo's president, stated that they plan a wide selection of games for the Switch 2 to counter the console's price hike. Basically saying like, look, we're sorry for the price hike, which they actually did apologize for, which is such a Japanese thing to do, but they did apologize for the price hike. They gave us a couple of months for people to get it before the price hike, and I think in Japan they're going crazy right now. Scalping is going on, stores are selling out everywhere, people are lining up, so at least here we have until September. But because there is a price hike, they're saying, look, you gotta buy the console for $500, that sucks. Luckily, you only have to buy the console once, so what we can do is give you 1 million, well they didn't say 1 million, but we can give you a bunch of really good games, so you actually have a purpose to buy that $500 console. So a lot of people are thinking with this announcement, they're basically saying like, look, we're gonna start announcing a bunch of games, because I feel like, getting games on this console, that's a given. You don't even need to say that. But the fact that they're saying, hey, we're sorry for the price, and we're going to give you guys a bunch of games to counter the console's price hike, makes me think we're going to get like a bunch of games, at least initially, maybe in this first year or two. What if we get 2 games a month instead of 1? So a first party direct happening in June at the latest, 100% that's going to happen. Now with all the third party leaks we've seen, which the count is over like 25 or 30 at this point. A partner showcase happening this week, a high probability, truly, and then the first party direct in June. We can say this every week, but now with everything that's been happening, I finally feel like it's going to potentially happen this week, and I'm gonna keep it safe with that prediction. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys, man. It has been a wacky time in the world of gaming, especially in Nintendo, but in PlayStation and Xbox as well. It's definitely not like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, right? It's a new era, it's wacky, but it makes for some fun videos. And if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing. And if you could, consider becoming a channel member, because we have 21 and I would love to get to 25, because we're streaming weekly now. And you guys know me, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.